Have you ever been told you are worthless without a college degree? This is the story of a young man who was kicked out of university and labeled a failure. 10 years later, he became one of the most successful business owners in his city, not despite dropping out, but because of what he learned after leaving school. Before we dive in, what time are you listening? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. And please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Now, let me tell you this story. Have you ever felt like you are falling behind because you do not have a degree? Maybe you dropped out of college and everyone said you ruined your life. Maybe you never went to university and feel ashamed when people ask where you studied. Or maybe you are watching friends graduate while you work a job that feels like a dead end, wondering if you made the wrong choice. If that is you, if you have been told that without a degree you will never amount to anything, then this story is for you. Because once there was a young man who was kicked out of university, labeled a failure by everyone who knew him. And 10 years later, he became one of the most successful business owners in his city. Not despite dropping out, but because of what he learned after leaving school. Stay with me until the end. This might change how you see your future. Daniel was 22 years old. He was a business school student. He was expelled. In a busy city where universities lined every street and degrees hung on every wall, there lived a 22-year-old man named Daniel. Daniel had entered the best business school in the state with dreams of becoming someone important. His parents had saved for years to afford the fees. His teachers said he had potential. His friends were jealous of his acceptance letter. But Daniel struggled, not because he was not smart, but because the classroom felt like a cage. While professors talked about theories from textbooks, Daniel's mind wandered to the real world outside the window. He wanted to build things, create solutions, solve actual problems, not memorize case studies about someone else's success. His grades dropped, first from A's to B's, then from B's to C's. By his third year, Daniel was spending more time in the library researching business ideas than studying for exams. He started a small online store selling handmade leather goods, working late into the night while his roommates partied or studied. One day, his academic advisor called him into the office. "Daniel," she said, looking at his grades with disappointment, "you are failing 3 courses. If you do not focus on your studies, you will be expelled. This business hobby of yours is destroying your future." Daniel felt his chest tighten. "But the business is actually working. I made $3,000 last month." She shook her head. "That is pocket change. Without a degree, that business will collapse. And then what will you have? The expulsion. You will have nothing. Nothing." 2 months later, despite desperate attempts to catch up, Daniel was expelled from university. The day he packed his dorm room, he felt like the world was watching him fail. His parents cried. His friends did not know what to say. His younger brother looked at him with pity and said, "I guess I am the successful one now." Daniel moved back to his childhood bedroom, a 22-year-old dropout living with his parents, surrounded by participation trophies from a childhood that promised so much more. Every night, he stared at the ceiling, hearing his advisor's voice. "Without a degree, you will have nothing." He looked at his small leather business. Was it really worth throwing away his education for? Or was everyone right? Was he just a failure, making excuses? For 3 months, Daniel tried to prove everyone wrong by finding a real job. Rock bottom. $847 and 47 rejections. He applied to 47 positions: marketing coordinator, sales associate, administrative assistant, entry-level, anything. Every single application came back with the same answer: "We are looking for candidates with a bachelor's degree." At family dinners, his uncle would ask loudly, "So, Daniel, still playing with your little craft business?" The table would go quiet. His mother would look down at her plate. His high school friends, now graduating with honors, posted photos in caps and gowns. Daniel scrolled through social media, feeling like he was watching his generation succeed while he stood still. One evening, after another rejection email, Daniel sat in his childhood bedroom, surrounded by leather working tools and unsold inventory. He had $847 in his bank account. His business was barely breaking even. He had no degree, no job offers, no clear path forward. He opened his laptop to shut down the business website. "Everyone was right," he whispered. "I should have just stayed in school." But as his finger hovered over the delete button, an email notification popped up. It was from a customer named Michael Chen. The $37,500 email that changed everything. It read, "Daniel, I just received the wallet I ordered. It is the best craftsmanship I have seen in years. I run a boutique hotel chain, and I would like to discuss a wholesale order for 500 pieces. Are you interested?" Daniel read it 3 times. 500 pieces. That was $37,500 in revenue. His hands shook. He closed the laptop without deleting anything. Instead, he did something he had not done in months. He Googled successful business owners without college degrees. The list that appeared changed everything. Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Michael Dell, Larry Ellison, Oprah Winfrey. None of them had completed university. But more importantly, Daniel found a local business owner named Robert Martinez, who had built a manufacturing company from nothing. No degree, just relentless learning and action. Before he could talk himself out of it, Daniel emailed Robert. "I am a dropout trying to build something real. Can I buy you coffee and ask for advice?" 3 days later, Daniel sat across from Robert Martinez in a quiet coffee shop. Robert was 52, built like someone who had worked with his hands his whole life, and had a calm confidence that Daniel had never felt. "So," Robert said, stirring his coffee, "you dropped out, and everyone thinks you are a failure." Daniel nodded, embarrassed. Robert smiled. "Good. That means you have something to prove. That is powerful fuel if you use it right." He leaned forward. "Let me show you something." Robert pulled out 2 business cards and placed them on the table. "This card," he said, pointing to one, says, "MBA, Harvard Business School." Impressive, right? Daniel nodded. "This card says, built 3 profitable businesses, employed 200 people, served 10,000 customers." He looked at Daniel. "Which person would you hire to solve a real business problem?" Daniel hesitated. "The second one." "Exactly. Because the second card shows results. The first card shows someone who paid to sit in a classroom. Both are valuable, but in the real world, results beat credentials every single time." Robert continued. "Here is what they do not teach you in school, Daniel. A degree is a standardized path. It is safe, predictable. It tells employers, this person can follow instructions and complete what is assigned." He paused. "But building something from nothing, that requires different skills. It requires learning to fail, learning from customers, adapting without permission, solving problems no textbook has answered. Those skills do not come from lectures. They come from doing." Robert's napkin. Real skills, results, relationships. Robert pulled out a napkin and drew 3 circles. Every successful person, degree or no degree, has 3 things. First, real skills. Not theoretical knowledge, but skills you can demonstrate. Can you build something people want? That is a skill. Can you sell? That is a skill. Can you manage money? That is a skill. You learn these by doing, not by studying. Second, real results. Your portfolio is your proof. Do not tell people you are good at business. Show them the business you built. Do not tell them you can create quality products. Show them 500 five-star reviews. Third, real relationships. This is the secret no one talks about. Degrees give you alumni networks, but real relationships, customers who trust you, mentors who guide you, partners who believe in you, those you build through showing up, delivering value, and earning respect. He pushed the napkin toward Daniel. For the next 6 months, I do not want you worrying about what you do not have. I want you focused on building these 3 things: real skills, real results, real relationships. And Daniel, Robert's eyes were intense. Stop calling yourself a dropout. You are not someone who failed at the traditional path. You are someone brave enough to build your own path. There is a difference. Daniel left that coffee shop with a napkin folded in his pocket and something he had not felt in months: clarity. The next morning, he accepted Michael Chen's hotel order. It was terrifying. 500 wallets. He had never made more than 20 in a month. But he did not make excuses. He learned. He watched 47 videos on leather production scaling. He contacted other craftsmen and asked for advice. He negotiated with suppliers. He set up a small production system in his parents' garage. His friends with degrees were starting $45,000 a year jobs. Daniel was working 80-hour weeks in a garage, making mistakes, restarting orders, learning through failure. But every week he got faster, better, more efficient. He delivered the hotel order on time. Michael Chen was impressed. He introduced Daniel to 3 other hotel owners. Daniel's revenue jumped from $3,000 a month to $18,000. He hired his first employee, another dropout named Sophia, who had incredible design skills but no portfolio. Together, they expanded the product line. His parents started to notice. His father, who had not spoken to him about business in months, asked quietly one evening, "Son, is this actually working?" Daniel showed him the bank account. His father's eyes widened. Daniel joined a local business owner meetup. At first, he felt like an imposter surrounded by people with impressive profiles. But when he shared his story, dropout turned craftsman, people leaned in. They asked questions. They wanted to help. One mentor connected him with a retail buyer. Another taught him pricing strategy. A third introduced him to investors, though Daniel was not ready for that yet. 6 months after meeting Robert, Daniel faced his biggest challenge. A competitor with an MBA and $200,000 in funding launched a similar business with aggressive marketing. Daniel's old fears returned. Maybe I cannot compete with educated, funded people. But then he remembered Robert's napkin. He did not have an MBA, but he had real skills. He could make better products faster than anyone. Real results. 1,200 five-star reviews and growing. Real relationships. Loyal customers who referred friends. When the competitor tried to undercut his prices, Daniel's customers defended him in reviews. Do not buy the cheap knockoff. Buy from Daniel. He is the real deal. His competitor burned through funding in 9 months and shut down. Daniel's business kept growing. Transformation. $3,000 to $18,000 to $2 million in 3 years. 3 years after being expelled from university, Daniel walked past his old campus. Students rushed to class, stressed about exams, worried about grades. He used to be one of them. Now he employed 15 people. His business generated over $2 million in annual revenue. He had been featured in business magazines. Other business owners asked him for advice. But more than the money or recognition, Daniel had something deeper. Proof that his worth was not defined by someone else's checklist. He met Robert for coffee again, this time to say thank you. "You do not need to thank me," Robert said. You did the work. You took the risk. But you gave me permission to believe in a different path, Daniel replied. Robert smiled. That is the thing about non-traditional success, Daniel. Society will not give you permission. You have to give it to yourself. My friend, Daniel's story is not about whether you should or should not go to college. It is about understanding this truth. There are many paths to success, and a degree is just one of them, not the only one. If you are someone without a degree, or someone who left school, or someone considering a different path, remember 3 things. First, your value is not determined by certificates on a wall. It is determined by the problems you solve, the value you create, and the lives you impact. Second, traditional education teaches you to follow proven paths. Non-traditional education teaches you to create new paths. Both are valuable. One is not superior to the other. Third, the world does not care about your excuses or your credentials. It cares about your results. Can you deliver? Can you learn? Can you adapt? That is what matters. So if you are worried that you are behind because you do not have a degree, ask yourself, what real skills am I building today? What real results can I show? What real relationships am I creating? Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Stop waiting for permission to build the life you want. And stop believing that there is only one definition of success. You are not less than because you chose a different path. You are not a failure because you do not have letters after your name. You are a builder, a learner, a creator. And the world needs what you can build far more than it needs another person with a framed piece of paper. If this story reminded you that success is not one size fits all, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Someone who is doubting their path. Someone who has been told they are not enough. Because the person who changed the world might be the one who refused to follow everyone else's blueprint. I will be back with another story to help you grow. Until then, remember, degrees open doors, but so do skills, results, and relentless commitment to learning. Your path is valid. Your journey is enough. Build something great. The world is waiting.